I'm not in it, am I?
Who's that? I don't know. That's John Miano. 20 years ago. Why is he here?
Well, thank you, Dr. Garvin. I'm Andrew Kirkpatrick. I'm one of the fourth-year residents, and tonight I have the great privilege of sending off Paul Seung-Po Hong with a farewell tribute. Paul spent 5 years here, great 5 years. I do want to just warn everybody, the following will contain the truth about the football team, the Chicago Bears. Those of us that know Paul know he asks a lot of questions. He's honestly inquisitive, yet can sometimes be ridiculously inappropriate, and so I want to warn you all for that. I did poll the audience. I interviewed a bunch of the faculty members and residents for some quotes about Paul, so thank you to all who contributed. And if there are any children in the audience, now would be a good time to please usher them out. Anybody who gets squeamish easily, please shield your eyes or look away. I'd like to disclose I am, despite what I'm about to say, I'm a personal friend of Dr. Hong's, but I'm from Wisconsin, he's from Illinois. I'm a Packers fan. That creates a bit of dissonance here. Thank you for that clap. Go Pack, go. Bring it.
Thank you.
I do want to thank all Paul's friends, the residents who contributed quotes to this, the orthopedic faculty, all of you. I got a chance to sit down and interview professionally, which you may or may not know. The leadership of the department, Dr. Romino and Garvin, for the content you contributed, which I hope doesn't get me fired. And Paul's family who's here, his parents are here, his sister Irene contributed lots of pictures, and most of all, Paul, thank you for the 5 years you spent here, pretty much roasting yourself, making my job a little bit easier. I don't want this talk to end up like this, where we're all laughing and Paul is crying. I really would rather that we all can be friends, you know, sort of more like this. Like our quarterbacks are friends, they are getting along very well. I told the audience for some quotes about Paul, some personal interviews with the residents, professional ones with the faculty. But do please take the resident quotes with a grain of salt. As you know, the residents can be quite unreliable sometimes. Here's a quote from one of the residents. Quote, Paul is very professional. I'm proud to be a member of such a prestigious society like the American Academy of Orthopaedic Surgeons with Paul. And this quote came from Dr. Eric Bonds. There he is at the Academy, being very professional. Another resident said, quote, growing up as a soccer fan in Greece, I can appreciate culture. And Paul is a man of culture. That came from Lenny Grossman. An actual screenshot from a Greece soccer game. One resident said, quote, Paul Hong is kick-ass, and you all probably know where that came from. It came from Paul Johnson. There he is. Right there, an actual photo. Thank you, Paul. Another resident said, Paul was a big part of our team of mathletes. We also read a lot of books together at book club, and he can read really good. Came from St. John. Quite the mathlete himself. So I do want to be serious, though. I sat down. I interviewed a lot of the faculty. We videotaped them, took some screenshots. I thank all the faculty for doing this. We start out with, I think Paul did pretty good at learning orthopedic tumors. And Sean McGarry, thank you, Dr. McGarry. Curtis Hartman said, Dr. Hong served several terms over the years of my rotation. He seemed to endure them with a quiet fortitude. Very nice words from Dr. Hartman. Thank you for that. Dr. Hong would be an excellent spine surgeon. I would know. I am one. Excellent spine surgeon. Thank you for that. and Paul really helped out the other residents by making a lot of mistakes I've never, ever seen any other person make. Dr. Furlick added, like, the time he left all the screw guides inside one of my patients by accident. By the time he reamed a sciatic nerve instead of the bone. By the time he, oh hell, there's lots of time. He wasn't done. Dr. Furlick did say, I don't always do surgery, but when I do it right. Real picture of Dr. Furlick here. Thank you. And then I did go to the leadership themselves. I went to Dr. Mormino, Dr. Garvin, sat down with them, asked them, this is a special time for Paul. I really wanted to ask them if they have any quotes about Paul that, maybe good things he's done for the department, positive things, a legacy that he's left. I asked Dr. Mormino, and Dr. Garvin had sort of a similar response when I asked him about Paul's accomplishments. Courtesy of Google.com. I did not doctor that photo in any way. Thank you for your comments from the leadership. So I did ask for pictures of Paul growing up from his family, and thanks to his sister Irene, I was provided with plenty of pictures. I mean, there's Paul with his family on a nice vacation. He did grow up in Naperville. There they are at the mountains. There's Paul in some sort of a basket thing with his sister. Paul goofing around, making faces. I got a lot of pictures from Irene, and I want to thank her for that. I looked at so many pictures of all these family members and Asians, and it started getting pretty confusing. I started to wonder, which one is Paul? I honestly cannot tell. Which one is Paul? And so I got confused. I had to go to Google.com. I had to Google Paul Hong to find some real pictures that I knew were reliable. So I Googled Paul Hong, and what did I find? More confused. Which one is Paul? I don't know, they all look alike. I knew Paul liked knives, so I Googled Paul Hong and knives, and I added them together. And this is what I got. This is an actual picture of Paul throwing knives at Starsky and Hutch. But that led me to some actual pictures of Paul, so I did find them. He eventually became mature. There he is having a birthday growing up. He grew out of liking knives eventually. He did become the man, much more mature, the man that we know today. A real man, a man who collects swords. This is an actual picture of the sword collection in his apartment. So the graduating residents do get to buy a commemorative item. Dr. Garvin's generous enough to give a monetary gift to the department. Some residents had bought in the past. Especially engraved office chair like the one that's in Dr. Tusing's office, surgical loops, maybe a custom-made clock with UNMC engraved on it. Paul bought a sword, and he's really proud of it, but, I do want to tell everybody, I would never intentionally perpetuate or condone any of these terrible, terrible stereotypes about Asian people that you see up on the screen. Such as all Asians look alike, or all Asians become doctors and lawyers, Asian men are not well endowed, all Asians are ninjas or like swords. I'm thankful I don't have to do that. Paul pretty much provided that for me. He was very proud of his sword. He told us all about it. This commemorative sword he bought for graduation. He told us about it all the time. Here he is in clinic, telling our staff about it. Dr. Coningsberg with him. This picture is courtesy of Google.com. Sir, my sword is huge. It's really cool. Dr. Coningsberg looks pretty interested in that. He told the other residents about it. I'm telling you, it's huge. It is huge. He told his son Ethan about it. He was less than excited. Here's Ethan. It's really big, Ethan. My sword. Continue to tell Ethan about it. There he is rambling about his sword. We love Paul, but we know he can occasionally tend to ramble or embellish things, but he's excited about the sword. I think we had enough. Please show us the sword. Well, he didn't want to do that per se, but I am honored to tell you, Paul did ask me to unveil the sword at graduation, so in front of everyone, I want you to know I consider this a great honor. This is the sword, the Paul Hong commemorative sword, the 2016 graduating sword that Paul wanted to buy with his graduation money. And so, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Paul Hong graduation sword. Specially engraved, UNMC. You can add that to your collection, Paul. It may not look big to the rest of us, but it might to you. That's okay. He grew up in Naperville, Illinois, with a great family. There they are taking a vacation. Everyone's looking great out at the mountains there. And he had birthday parties. Hard to tell which one's Paul, but someone had a birthday party. They made a really creepy shrine to Paul. There he is there. He grew up, he got older, he had birthdays. He started excelling in academics and awards, really excelling. Paul's an intelligent guy. There he is winning some type of award in elementary school, looking good. He took up many hobbies. There he is fishing, man of many talents, looking good, Paul. As Paul grew up, he started asking questions. A lot of questions. Those of you who have worked with Paul know he asked a lot of questions, and he started asking questions that shaped his life, like who's important in my life, and there they are, his family. Thank you for coming, everyone. There they are at Epcot or somewhere. Can I take my own sister to homecoming? Well, he answered that one for us. Irene couldn't be here tonight, but she was at the homecoming with Paul. Nice outfit, Paul.
Thank you.
Should I go to college? Yeah, he went to college, had a good time. There he is, in the keg stand. What should I do with my life? You know, he pondered a lot of career options. Paul's a man of many talents. He's intelligent, he could do anything. He thought, maybe I could be a male model. He's a good-looking guy. He tried that. And then decided it wasn't for him. He tried, should I be a singer? He tried that. He's tried that for a while. Should I be a surgeon? So Paul became serious, set out to become a surgeon. Again, asked a lot of questions. A lot of questions. He had fun on the job. There he is playing with a remote control car in the VA resident lounge. He boiled crawfish in his scrubs in the resident lounge. He told people about his sword, how big it was. I don't know what he's doing there. He's stretching and playing. So, Paul's questions are honestly inquisitive, but some of them are appropriate, some are inappropriate. And, he does ask a lot of appropriate questions. Here he is in clinic. Dr. Konigsberg, sir, when performing a total hip replacement, what are the most important factors I should be aware of? That's a good question, Paul. He's taking it seriously. He's answering, Mr. Kubitschek, sir, how many textbooks do I have to stack in order to jump my remote control truck? Honest, inquisitive. Dr. Siebler, have you ever had a patient do really poorly after you did an operation like this? You ever had someone die on the operating table? That one wasn't so well received. But the ultimate question that Paul asked in his 5 years here at UNMC really came down to this. Sir, should I grow my hair out? Despite all the advice, he set out to do it, and he really had a goal in mind. He wanted to look like this. He made it very clear. This is Han from Fast and the Furious, good-looking guy, black flowing locks. So he did. He set out. Selfies and everything. He set out to look like Han from Fast and the Furious, but unfortunately, it kind of started to turn out like this. Yeah, I'm still having a hard time figuring out which one is Paul in the pictures. Here he is. He kept trying, he took selfies, he grew it out, but in typical Paul Hong fashion, he took it a little too far. He grew the hair, it kept growing, and this is what he looked like at one point. There's Paul. It was actually surprisingly well received by the faculty because, as we know, and we found out this morning, or 2 days ago, a lot of the faculty really do appreciate big hair. There's a couple of them. Their appreciation from Paul's hair. He got under control, and he made it work. And like Paul does, he's resilient, he's intelligent, he's smart, he's a good-looking guy. And now he really is sexier than ever. And I'm proud to say, after all that work, all the salons, all the selfies, this is what Paul Hong looks like today. And so, yeah, really. So, but in the end, Paul, he went on to score a very prestigious fellowship at University of Pittsburgh. He's going to be an excellent spine surgeon, just like Dr. Cornett. He's an excellent father. He's a loyal friend. He's a very intelligent physician. And Paul, we're really going to miss you. It's my honor to send you off tonight.